What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs have a new backup quarterback, one that I'm pretty excited about. Let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, the Kansas City Chiefs made quite the signing on Thursday afternoon when they went ahead and signed now former, Las Vegas Raiders backup quarterback Gardner Minshew to a one-year deal. That's per Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. And, this is a pretty big signing, guys, as far as backup quarterback goes, as far as that position goes. This is probably the biggest splash that they've made at backup quarterback since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. I said that last year after they signed Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz, although, nothing special, especially at this stage of his career, he was a step up talent-wise from a Chad Henne or a Matt Moore, or a Blaine Gabbert. Those were guys that simply were veteran presences that knew how to run the offense, that would run the absolute bare bones, purest vanilla version of the Andy Reid offense if Patrick Mahomes were to ever get hurt. They were just there to kind of be that veteran presence that Mahomes could also lean on. They were never going to do too much outside of the Andy Reid script. They were just there. And we saw, at times those guys were able to come in, hold down the fort. Both Blaine Gabbert, Chad Henne, those guys, they did that at different points. Chad Henne came through for this team multiple times as the backup quarterback. But again, he wasn't going to get outside the pocket and make any sort of crazy throws or anything like that. Carson Wentz was capable of doing that when they signed him, which is why I liked that whenever they picked him up, because that was a guy that I felt as if Mahomes were to get hurt for a few games, you could trust Carson Wentz to come in, hold it down, and play good football. Now, we didn't really get to see him all that much last year, which is a good thing for the most part. But they did give him that opportunity to start week 17 against the Denver Broncos, and he didn't look great. That was kind of his chance to maybe play for a starting spot elsewhere. And although he didn't get to show that much, I don't really put that as much on him. That was a bad situation. No offensive line, no wide receivers played in that game. So Carson Wentz was at a true disadvantage right there. But now the Kansas City Chiefs move on. They're not bringing back Carson Wentz, who remains unsigned to this point, and they instead bring in Gardner Minshew. And I find this kind of interesting, but the Raiders are still going to be paying him more this year than the Kansas City Chiefs are paying him to be on their team. The Raiders are almost essentially paying for Gardner Minshew to play for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2025, and I find that absolutely hilarious. And I like the fact that he's coming over from a division rival, because there's always a little bit more extra motivation there. Not that Gardner Minshew will necessarily get a chance to face them, but I like having him in the room. I think, he's kind of an alpha male quarterback per se. I like having that attitude there. This is someone that I think is going to push Mahomes in practice. And also stylistically, I think can emulate Patrick Mahomes more than any other backup quarterback the Chiefs have ever had. You can do a little bit more with him. This is not the typical Chad Henne, Matt Moore type of signing. And I think it's even a step up from Carson Wentz. When Carson Wentz came to the Kansas City Chiefs, he had the biggest pedigree. He played at an MVP level before with the Philadelphia Eagles, but it's pretty late in his career. We're pretty far past those days for Carson Wentz. I think this version of Gardner Minshew is probably a little bit better to have on your roster than Carson Wentz. And that's no disrespect to Carson Wentz. I liked having him as the Chiefs backup quarterback, felt comfortable with him coming in if he ever had to. Luckily, he didn't have to. And luckily, Gardner Minshew never has to come in. But funnily enough, I was going to mention that because I hope this doesn't bring a bad omen to the Chiefs, because someone had pointed out about how basically everywhere Gardner Minshew has gone, the starter has gotten hurt. And he started basically half the season. This is a guy that played a lot more than expected the past couple of years, played a lot for the Raiders for over 2,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, And then in 2023, he played for the Indianapolis Colts, threw for over 3,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. But again, I like having that. He's got, a live enough arm that you can run some real offense with him. You're not really taking away from the weapons on offense with the quarterback if he has to come in for a couple of games for Patrick Mahomes. And hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs have a few more blowouts this year than they did this past year. Hopefully not every single game is a one-score game, even against the really bad teams, so that maybe we get to see Gardner Minshew play a little bit and watch some stress-free Chiefs football and just watch Gardner Minshew get to sling it with this Chiefs team. I hope we get to see that next year because, I like Gardner Minshew. He's an entertaining personality. I think he brings a good attitude to the quarterback room, to this team. This is someone that is going to be a really good teammate. I really like this signing. Of course, it's the backup quarterback. You hope he never actually has to come in and play. But as far as backup quarterbacks go, I like having Gardner Minshew. This is a guy that's got years of experience. He's thrown for nearly 12,000 yards and 70 touchdowns in this league. I mean, I like bringing that into this organization. I like bringing in someone who's kind of been all over and has produced at multiple spots and has enough, mobility, athleticism, has enough of an arm that if Mahomes were for some reason to go down, you can bring him in and you don't lose too much. Obviously, the guy's not going to come in and be Patrick Mahomes, but you can still do Chiefs offense things with him in the game. Again, unlike a Chad Henne or a Matt Moore or a Blaine Gabbert, who are just going to go in there, hand the ball off a couple of times, and then maybe complete a pass on third down. So those are my thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs signing quarterback Gardner Minshew to be Patrick Mahomes' new backup. Love this. I think those guys are really going to push each other in practice in that quarterback room. I like it a lot. I can't wait to see his introductory press conference with the team. Can't wait to see him in training camp. He's going to bring the style to this Chiefs team. So definitely want to hear from you guys, though, in the comments down below what your thoughts are on the Kansas City Chiefs deciding to bring in Gardner Minshew as a new backup. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com, arrowheadaddict.com for more. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs!